Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome to the demo for the Thaumaturge from Fool's Theory and 11-Bit Studios. One of the demos from the latest Steam Fest that really caught my eye, so I thought I'd share it with y'all, see what you guys think. In a single sentence, it is a cinematic, fully voice-acted, isometric CRPG set in anachronistic, turn-of-the-century Warsaw. Beyond that, though, I'll let y'all see for yourselves. Let's jump right in, kick the tires on this thing. I've already played through it once, but I'll make different decisions this time. See how that changes things. Thaumata is a word deriving from Greek. It means miracles. A thaumaturge, or a tempermancer, is one able to discover secrets lingering in persons or places. They recognize flaws or stigmas imprinted on the human psyche, and can bring them to the surface. Are they a doctor of souls? It is impossible to fully name the essence of a thaumaturge without being born one. Sorry, characters are voiced, but I'll be doing the narrations. There's no narrator.
For years I've been seeing you in my dreams, and lately more and more. I know it's you, but I can no longer recognize your face. I don't know if I'd recognize you if I saw you. I hope your condition hasn't worsened much since you last wrote. I can hardly imagine what a nightmare you're going through. Remember, you're not alone. I'm sure our father would be happy to help, if only you asked him. I assure you that for now, I haven't said a word to him about your search or your health, just as you requested. He doesn't know your intention, and with God as my witness, he'll not find out from me. I know you think the only thing that can help you is a miracle, but such itinerant miracle workers, preachers, and folk mystics often take advantage of those in grave condition who are desperate or seeking help. I hope the man you're pursuing can actually ease your mind. But if not, remember that in the end, we will find a way to help you. Just because we can't see it now, does not mean it doesn't exist. Send word as soon as you get there. I want to know you are safe. With as much love as I have. Rigia.
Could you spare a moment for me? I'd like to send a telegram.
Of course. Pardon me, sir, but are you feeling all right?
Yes, thank you.
You're not looking your best.
Thank you.
What's your message?
And we're in. Now, last time I played it straight. So I guess this time we'll see what kind of humor this clearly ailing man enjoys. But, you know, you've got to laugh, or else you'll cry.
Take this down, please. Arrived. Very beautiful views. People honest at first glance. Sincerely, your barely living cripple.
I didn't mean to cause offense.
Well, then strike that, please. Take this down, please. Arrived. I think I have found him. I hope he will receive me. I will write as soon as I am able.
And payment?
On receipt.
Anything to add at the end?
That's family. We'll show proper decor.
Please add, my love to you, my sister.
Touching. From whom?
My name is Viktor Szulski. S-Z-U-L-S-K-I. And Victor with a W, not a V.
Interesting name. Where's this headed?
Warsaw. Russia.
And this is supposedly Georgia. Russia here and Russia there. Russia everywhere, on every map.
Maps change. I know. Let's get on with it.
Pardon?
I was talking to myself. Which way to the village?
The coachman is picking up the mail. Maybe he'll give you a ride.
Thank you.
Loony.
Whoa, buddy. You gotta work on your customer service. At least wait until I'm out of earshot. Alright, so pretty standard fare. Fixed isometric camera angle. WASD to move. And F or mouse click to interact with objects. Dear Anthony, it feels like ages have passed since our last letter. Or maybe it's just the winter that makes everything good and warm seem distant. As you can guess, the life of an exile does not spoil me. Years ago, I was uprooted from my homeland and sent to a foreign land among foreign people to fight under the Russian banner. And how am I today? I live among people who hate me. I am losing my health and my mind and cultivating the land that I fertilized with the blood and flesh of its sons. And I can't leave here. I can't stop reminiscing. Death seems to be my only means of escape. Please pray for me. Constantine. P.S. I don't think this letter will make it through the censorship, but if it does, please tell Anilka that the thought of her brought me solace until the very end. Whew, that is bleak. Dear Janko, please stop with the gentry snobbery and listen to what I tell you. Times are changing. You can no longer rely solely on property ownership. The peasants are different now, and it is not at all clear how things will turn out in the coming years. You just have to look. Wherever you turn, you hear about revolts and peasant guerrillas going at the lords with pitchforks. We have to protect ourselves. Have something on the side, some business that will allow us to live with dignity. That's why I'm telling you for the last time. Go to the bank in Tiflis and take a loan against half of our assets in the Caucasus. Invest in the oil business in Baku. The railroad is already getting there, and the world needs kerosene. You need to act. I will send you all the documents and authorizations. Don't delay any longer. Greetings. Lou. And notice that reading that did give us XP, so the player is incentivized to seek out lore objects, which I do appreciate. Sorry, I was just scanning the room in case there was anything hidden in here. We'll get to that a little later. Let's see what we've got here. We've got our passport. We've got a revolver, a Magnet M1885. Can't say I'm familiar with that make. And money, just an unspecified pile of money. Always fun. Plus our grimoire. And the letter that we were reading during the opening cinematic. We've also got various collectibles that we can pick up, though obviously we have none right now. And there's our Thaumaturge tree, which we'll chatter about later. Plus the usual fare for these sorts of games. Localized map, journal entries, all that good stuff. Perception. As a Thaumaturge, you possess exceptional perception. You can see things that are hidden from sight. You can anticipate the enemy's actions. You can follow traces of emotions, thoughts, actions, and words. And you can reach your goal easier. Neat. So, obviously we're supposed to go that way, but let's poke around a bit, see if there's anything else to investigate. Interact button's a little twitchy. The Tiflis Herald. The tragic events of August 29th have cast a shadow on the city of Tiflis, leaving it in deep mourning. Yesterday's rally, where reform proposals set out by Minister Alexander Bulyagan were to be discussed, was brutally interrupted by Cossack troops that stormed inside the municipal board building. Armed Cossacks entered the conference room, wreaking havoc. In the turmoil, 60 people were killed and over 100 were injured. People are shocked at another instance of unjustified aggression against the nation of Georgia. Many believe more mass strikes are inevitable. Oof, yeah, that's a bit of an understatement there, Victor, but yeah, we'll just leave that be. All right, let's have a chat with the coachman.
Hello. Are you going to the village by any chance?
Hello there. Where else? There's nowhere to go here, sir. The station, the village, and the cemetery. That's all. A horse can't go any higher.
The village is what interests me.
Well, if you've got reason to be there, climb in.
So is it just locals living in the village?
Who else would want to live in a shithole like this?
I actually meant, is there anyone visiting, a guest?
You came for some healing? Well, he's no guest here. He's been here months, my friend. The people are tormented, so he sure got folks to heal.
Where might I find him?
I bet he's still in the tavern. He prays this time of day. He prays a heck of a lot. You getting in or what?
I'd be grateful.
Always nice to have someone to shoot the breeze with. Nothing to see around here. This is everything. Hard to get lost in this place. Head to the tavern over there past the little square up the steps. They'll tell you where that creature's at. Or this time of day, he'll be there himself.
Thank you.
You know, I do love the cinematic dialogue and all, but the constant movement of these background characters can get a bit distracting from time to time. They might be cycling those idle poses a little too quickly. Still, minor quibble. Overall, I'm definitely digging the overall atmosphere and presentation of the game. And yeah, while I did play through this once before I started recording, I did miss some things. So I mean, I'm still keeping an eye out for anything that looks unfamiliar.
Gentlemen, is this the tavern here?
Hey, Putnik. You coming from far?
Indeed, I'm tired.
Nice boots. Are they warm?
A proud answer. It not only draws from your flaw of pride's level, but will also feed it even more. Right, so flaws are a big part of the gameplay. Essentially, your thaumaturgical powers come from deeply ingrained flaws, which you can either nurture or try to suppress. There are pros and cons to either approach, so it's up to the player to find a balance.
Actually, I have particularly warm boots. Thanks.
And sooner or later, it'll come back to bite them.
Don't tempt me, Luca. Don't tempt me. Give me a sec. We got to sort out formalities with this tourist.
Either Znami. We're the Tsar's soldiers.
Those don't look like soldiers' faces. Closer to thieves.
I don't think he'll talk to us voluntarily.
Victory conditions. When your enemies lose all their health points, you win the fight. The enemy's health points are shown on bars below their feet, while your health points are represented by a bar in the bottom left corner of the screen. So this game does have a combat system, but it's fairly straightforward. You essentially choose your target, you choose your move, and although they're not showing it just yet, there's a timer track that shows the order in which events will play out, so you can plan around that. In this particular case, we can knock this guy out with a single, well-placed punch, so we'll do that. Ow. And right back at ya. Though that guy's got a knife, so maybe we should have gone for him first. Perception allows you to anticipate the enemy's actions. To find out what they are planning, unfold the actions queue at the top of the screen. And there's our tutorial for the skill speeds. Yeah, I like that they went with the more abstracted continuous initiative system. There are technically turns, you can see the rounds up top, but you can take as many actions as you can fit into a single round, as long as they're fast enough. In this case, there's no way for us to drop him in a single punch, so he will get one more hit in. And we're done.
Serge the Ruski is right.
They won't report us. They'll be too embarrassed to admit some cripple got the better of them.
Cool. Thanks, random guy. Luca, I believe they called him. But more importantly, we got our first Thaumaturgy point. On the Grimoire's cover, there were available Thaumaturgy points that you can spend on the tree. Purchase skill upgrades, improve your powers within any dimension, and hunt Salutors to enable further development. Yeah, collecting Salutors is basically one of the integral overarching narratives of the campaign. Although it's difficult to control even a single Salutor. Our man Victor here is trying to Pokemon this shit. As you can see on his track, there are ultimately 7 more Salutors he is trying to collect in his roamings across turn-of-the-century Europe. And given that each of these things comes with some fatal personality flaw, I have to imagine at some point the player will be confronted with how self-destructive it all is. But in the short term, it does give you the ability to read objects and manipulate emotions. Not to mention each one of these nodes also comes with some new combat upgrade, which you can slot into your various special combat abilities to further enhance them. Now, in my first run-through, I actually went with the dimension of writing first. The dimension of word. So let's try something different this time. We'll go mind. Different dimensions allow you to read different types of objects and provide different special actions you can take during various dialogues. And back to exploring. Let's grab this. Proletariatus Berzola is probably how that's pronounced. Soon the day will come when the people will throw off their hated shackles. With one stroke of the mighty arm, hardened by work and struggle with misery, they will get rid of the despised Tsar. May the recent events, so agonizing for many, be a torch that will kindle the flame of a just revolution. It will only take a few people to raise their heads proudly and abandon their work for the flame, to become an inferno that will consume the oppressor and cleanse our lands. It is already happening. Workers in major cities are preparing for action, and the country folk are also joining the fray. The hour of trial is upon us. Let us not lose heart. Yeah, I'm going to struggle with a lot of these pronunciations. I am but a poor Southern American boy. I guess we're headed this way. Can I pet the dog in the Thaumaturge? Boo, that's not petting, that's just standing awkwardly. Boo, I say. They better have that fixed by launch or people will riot. There's the guy we're here for, but let's scour for lore. News from Yerevan. Our correspondents report that the newly appointed Governor-General of the Yerevan province, Prince Napoleon Louis Joseph Jerome Bonaparte, has just arrived in town. The highest officials were present at the welcoming ceremony, followed by a dinner with representatives from Yerevan's most eminent families. The Governor-General's address to the townspeople is expected in the next few days. He didn't make it in the French army, yet he is quite successful in the Russian. Obviously not the Napoleon Bonaparte. He'd have been dead for almost 100 years at this point.
Forgive me, sir. Is your name Grigory Efimovich Rasputin?
I forgive you.
I'm sorry. It's just I've been looking for you for a very long time,
And you expected a thinking simpleton, an illiterate who swindles sick people and claims he can speak to God himself. I already said I forgive you.
Yes, I've heard. Especially in Petersburg. I've also heard about the healings, even hopeless cases. Inexplicable ones.
And what do you believe in?
We will be polite but skeptical.
If you help me, I'll believe all of it. And please believe me when I say I've tried everything short of a miracle. And I know the meaning of that word. I'm a Thaumaturge.
Where are you coming from?
I first learned of you in Paris. A charismatic miracle worker from Russia. I even heard about you from my doctors. By the time I got to Petersburg, you were already gone. I've crossed almost 3 continents, through Siberia, India, and half of Europe. But if you're asking me about my origins, I'm from Poland.
From which Poland? The Russian one, the German one, or the part that belongs to Austria?
From Warsaw.
Do you have a name?
Viktor Szulski.
On my path, I've already come across people who've lied to me about their problems, and then gone around calling me a charlatan. After them, others arrived, with pitchforks and torches, and I had to endure insults and spit in my face, or flee for my life. And now you say you're a wizard from an imaginary country that no one has seen on a map in over 100 years. Forgive my amusement. I haven't had my first coffee yet.
I forgive you, and I'm still asking for help.
prove you're a Thaumaturge, and I'll hear what you have to say.
Let's go with this one.
That's partly the issue I wanted to speak to you about.
Does that mean you give up?
That means I'll try, but I don't know.
All right, all right. I've met a few of your kind, so I know what you're capable of. Find something in this tavern that belongs to me, and tell me something only I could know.
First, I need to have something personal that belongs to you to learn your trace. It's a sort of pattern I would use to recognize the other objects.
Smell this.
Prayer beads. Time-worn prayer beads with 30 woolen knots. The zeal gushing from the beads impregnates the wool better than the tallow from the owner's strong fingers. The object pulses with a mixture of blue rapture, purple passion, and graphite fierceness. The touch of the beads burns, but it also attracts. Rasputin's Wish. Rasputin has a magnetic zeal and passion. He is a man with an attractive personality, strong and fierce, who is easy to follow. One just has to be careful not to get burned by the flame of his ardor. You've acquired the knowledge or context required to give a response. Well, then let us proceed.
I'll return to you in a moment.
I can hardly wait.
Observations are information that you acquire by interacting with people and items. Observations make up conclusions, a valuable source of knowledge about the world and events. They can help you in different situations. Yeah, so lore objects, observations, conclusions, they all provide you with additional tools which you can then use to influence interactions in and out of dialogue. It's pretty straightforward right now, but I imagine it opens up a lot more once you get past the tutorial. Thaumaturges possess perception, which allows them to read other people's emotions, actions, words, and thoughts left on items. In order to recognize them, you must develop the heart, deed, word, and mind dimensions sufficiently. Right, so we can currently read emotions and thoughts. On some items, you will find a trace of someone's personality. It takes one of three forms. Unknown, you see it for the first time. Familiar, you have seen it before, but you're not certain who it belongs to. Certain, you know exactly who left it. Traces are only revealed once you pass the test of perception on the item. In this case, obviously Rasputin, because he handed it directly to us. But I imagine it won't always be that easy. Dirty bowl. A dirty bowl that someone has eaten stew from. Which we can't read because we don't have word. In my first run, the bowl held traces of Rasputin's angry mutterings, which we could repeat back to him as proof of our abilities. Hair cloth. A penitential device for voluntary self-mortification of the body. The thought was created by the precise lashes of the whip. The first bloody welts were a reckoning of the wrongs suffered. The ones that followed spawned precise plans for revenge. The freshest ones are steeped in calculated analysis, and in waiting for the right opportunity. Rasputin's thoughts. Rasputin is an exceptionally colorful character. He sees this practice aimed at penance and the struggle against human passions as the perfect opportunity to recall the wrongs he has suffered and to plot bloody revenge. Rasputin is an exceptionally colorful character. Prayer Book. An ornate prayer book containing prayers for the Russian Orthodox Rite. It vibrates with a languishing moan of delight, the touch of silk, the scent of courtly powder. But that which is soft and warm is also pierced by the thorns of impending separation and longing. Which is an emotional reading, but we do not have enough expertise in deed, so we can't read the actions associated with it. But that's still enough for a partial conclusion. Rasputin's passions. Who would have thought that this priest had such passion? Surprisingly, the mask of a healer conceals an outstanding lover, irresistible to women's hearts and bodies. Perhaps this is one of his healing methods. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Who would have thought there were such layers of passion within him? And with 2 conclusions under our belt, we can now go back to Rasputin. In some cases, you can go back and collect observations and conclusions you missed your first time through. But that is not always the case. In this particular case, these will obviously become irrelevant once we prove ourselves to Rasputin. Speaking of which...
What have you learned, wizard?
Well, you're a zealous man. It permeates every level of your personality, your faith, your abilities.
Not such an impressive discovery.
I haven't finished yet. In Petersburg, you left behind a very devoted and very young lady-in-waiting.
At least one, my friend.
You are full of bitterness and resentment toward those who forced you to leave Petersburg. It torments you even in your dreams.
I have no control over my dreams, but I doubt it takes magical powers to guess I'm not fond of those who drive me away from somewhere. Have a seat. Tell me again, why were you looking for me?
I can't help but ask you about that young lady from Petersburg.
Careful, I'm starting to like you. But not enough to tell you about Petersburg. How do you think I might help you?
A few years ago, I attempted to catch a wild saluter, and that ended with me losing contact with my first saluter. That means I can't develop my abilities. I know that my Upyr is there. Sometimes he shows himself, but I can't feel the link anymore. Generally speaking, I'm losing it more and more each day. If it disappears, my mind... I'll lose my sense of reality. I'll fall into madness.
I don't know if I can help you.
Okay, see, this is a situation where a flawed response, aside from being potentially long-term harmful to us, also runs the risk of tainting our relationship with a character we need something from. I didn't mind picking a fight with those soldiers, but in the case of someone we're actively seeking services from, it's probably best not to make promises we may not be able to keep.
I don't have much dignity left. I'm prepared to beg for your help.
That won't be necessary, Victor. I meant I don't know if I'm able to help you. My gift is something I've received from God. Some I've helped, others I can't say. And I've never treated a Thaumaturge.
Maybe just do the same with me as with the others.
We can try. Focus on my voice. You are safe. As long as you can hear my voice, you are safe. Let me gaze into your mind. Let me see through your eyes. Let me in.
Where am I? Rasputin? There's no one here. This is probably fine. There's no need to be concerned about the very Silent Hill-esque dreamscape we have found ourselves stranded in. I'm sure it's all just part of being a Thaumaturge. Actually, come to think of it, I suppose there are a lot of parallels between these entities and the creatures from Silent Hill.
You're blind. You've never grasped the science of spotting the perfectly obvious. Can you still not see?
What do I supposedly not see?
Flaw clouds your vision. It always has. Pride. Your damned pride and sense of superiority.
I must have gotten that from you, Father.
You'll lose, idiot. You always do. You're even losing against yourself. You can't see, but can you at least hear? You're weak, stupid, and blind.
And speaking of parallels with Silent Hill, good old familial dysfunction.
Do you hear me? Do you? Do you?
I can see, Father. Clearly.
Will you be lying there much longer? I wanted to sweep.
Where's Rasputin?
In the cemetery, chasing away evil spirits and giving people comfort. You all right?
Yes, absolutely.
I wanted to sweep.
I'm just heading out. It's so good to see you again. And something else. I saw him clear as day. It wasn't a vision. It was a salutar, unbound by a pact. A wild one. And if so, that means there's someone in the village with a flaw that's attracting it.
You talking to me?
I was praying.
I wanted to sweep.
All right already. I'll be on my way then. Enjoy your sweeping success. Anything else in here? Doesn't look like it. Okay, let us venture forth. Quests have multiple objectives. Freely switch for the one you'd like to track. After switching, the objective will reveal a path to follow. Sometimes this path is so mysterious that it eludes even an experienced Thaumaturge. No worries. The remaining objectives will provide a way to solve the quest. Duly noted, O voice in my head. It is important to note that the order you do things in can have some influence on how subsequent events play out. We'll just poke around for now. We should get a verbal cue once we're near a readable object.
Let's take a look around.
Aha!
They'll all gawk, but without lifting a finger. Just, Vesna will bring it, Vesna will help. But if Vesna needs help with something, there's nobody to be found. That's not yours, don't touch! All these newcomers causing more problems.
Yeah, I gotta say, Victor, that was kind of weird just standing there holding that woman's apple. And our path has become obscured. We'll have to simply roam around until we find more clues. Or alternatively, we could pursue the more concrete lead we have, which would take us to Rasputin in the cemetery. But I did that my first time through, so let's see what happens if we simply wander the village. Oh, what have we here? Dead goose. Someone or something strangled this goose. From the goose's twisted neck flows the anger and passion of the person who slaughtered the poor bird. The wave of emotions carries no desire for meat or feathers, only the sour taste of envy, and the desire for all of Bogdan's property to go to hell. Poor goose. Salt on the doorstep. Salt on the doorstep protects from unwanted visitors and other misfortunes.
Over my dead body. I reject this verdict.
Well, I expected as much, and he wanted to come see you himself. He was first to judge.
I said what I said, and I won't change my mind. Go away, you're attracting gawkers.
Not gawkers. A witness. And let him listen. He'll see it fairly. Sir, this liar and thief here stole a memento of my mother, and this witch says I'm supposed to hand my goose over to him too.
Because you strangled mine. And what do I care about some trinkets your mother left you?
Because we already know you strangled the goose, but you still haven't proved that Bogdan stole your pendant.
Where is the justice here?
The conflicted neighbors. A dead goose lies between the quarreling peasants. The obvious bone of contention here. If the wise woman is to settle the dispute, she'd better do it quickly. It will come to fisticuffs in a moment. Neighborly disputes. It seems that the neighbors quarreled over a goose strangled in an act of revenge. A classic of the genre. Is it? I mean, I guess we'll give it a gander. Okay, so we can either pick sides, which will almost certainly lead to a fist fight, or we can use our powers to smooth things over, which does feel a bit unethical, but let's give it a go.
Why don't you relax and listen to the words of a wise woman?
Well, all in all, it's, I'm sorry, Bogdan.
Come inside, and tell me what you're doing here.
Oh, yes, she definitely noticed our hijinks. That may end up influencing our future interactions. We also have a new Thaumaturge point to play with, but we'll bank that for now. Diary of an Oblate Priest. They say that every nation has its demons. Its phantoms, ghosts, and nightmares were created to make naughty children behave. But I have gone halfway around the world preaching the word of God and learned the truth. These demons, fiends, and devils, cursed by gods, are real, and they are everywhere. In distant Sirmia, people whispered the name Bukovac, a cruel beast whose presence brings wrath and commands people to inflict violence on their neighbors. A fairy tale, you say? But I have seen Bukovac, here in Piątkowski. I heard the rattle of his chains and felt his fangs digging into my neck and tugging at every fiber of my soul. And I felt the fury that this wraith brings with it. The anger from which there is no escape. The taste of blood in my mouth that no prayer can erase. May the holy walls of the Oblate Church stop this beast. Blessed Virgin, keep me safe. Well, that's intriguing. I believe the creature we encountered in our vision was sporting a chain. Unfinished letter. So. My dear son, my heart is crying. Have I harmed you so that you write about me like this? That you renounce your legacy, your land, and your blood? I never said a word to you when you refused to farm with us, nor when you went to Tiflis to study. And now you're calling us stupid? Backward? You repeat after that rector of yours, Sudiecki, and that Georgian, your language is the language of dogs? And you want to write to me only in Russian? Child, Georgia flows in your blood. She is the salt in your tears and the glue in your bones. You will not renounce her. You can't. Alright, let's chat.
The villagers seem to have a certain respect for you, ma'am, so I wanted to ask your help with something.
I'm not getting any younger, boy. Talk before I drop dead.
Oh, wow. Okay, so apparently we have yet to discover things relevant to this discussion. The only thing we can do right now is accuse her of taking advantage of the villagers, which seems like something we probably shouldn't do on zero evidence.
Well then, I hope you'll still be alive when I get back, madam.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to that once we've gathered more intel. What kind of magic is that? I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, we probably shouldn't ensorcel people in plain view. I'm sorry, Bogdan. I'm sorry. I'm sure he's fine.
Am I sensing? No, that's still not it.
Wooden box. A hand-carved and elaborately painted wooden box. We have insufficient word dimension to read that, but fortunately we have a point banked, so let's go ahead and expand our sphere of influence. Oh, wait. Gosh darn it, I just unlocked the wrong one. What did I pick? I picked Deed. Okay, so now we can read actions, but we cannot read words. Silly me. That's fine, we'll come back for that. Let's see what else we've got. Yeah, we do still have other objects, so hopefully we can bump our experience high enough to buy a point in word before it becomes irrelevant. Damaged axe shaft. A damaged axe shaft. The trace it bears does not belong to Vesna, which also requires word. But we do have heart. The shaft is overgrown with thorns of bitter words, but there are others, warm, delicate as rose petals. They betray a love for someone who's not afraid of thorns, a love that is difficult, but not accepting of violence. Dish shards. Broken shards of a blue ceramic dish. The broken ceramic trembles with anger and frustration. The quarrel erupted and suddenly spewing out bile of mutual complaints and grievances. Its sweet and pungent taste stupefied, compelled screaming, finger-pointing, and hurting. The frenzy lasted until all involved were out of breath. And that is a deed reading, so it still came in handy. Domestic squabbles. In this house lives a married couple who do not mince their words. They argue violently, loudly, until they are out of breath. But they persist, together, despite everything. Interesting, interesting. But we still need word to unlock these objects. Let's finish canvassing the area. For what little there is of it. Looks like that's pretty much it. Alright, well, we'll just have to do without.
I wanted to talk. Ma'am, please open the door.
Please go. We didn't invite any guests over. I'm telling you, go away, or I'll call for help! 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 Somebody help me!
What are you doing here, you tramp?
I'm not looking for trouble. I just wanted to talk.
We'll talk, all right.
Oh, and we're fighting. But first, let's slot some upgrades. Each skill can be upgraded. Place the upgrade in the designated spot on the skill icon. Each upgrade takes some space. Choose wisely. And we currently have 2 upgrades to play with. Thief of Thought and Relaxation. Both of which really lean into the whole focus mechanic, which we're not really into just yet. We'll just go ahead and slot them for now. Not sure they'll really come in handy for this fight, but might as well. In order to launch a strong attack against an enemy, you must take away all of their focus, causing them to enter the breakdown state. Strong attacks are much more powerful than other skills, and allow the fight to end quicker. I'll be the judge of that. Unless the tutorial expressly tells me to do it, in which case, I guess, that's what we're doing. You and your Salutor each have your own separate set of skills. Plan which you want to use, and give the Salutor an appropriate command. Which is this set right here. Thematically similar to our base set, but with some key differences based on the Salutor's nature. We'll go for a double distract, why not? The enemy has lost all of their focus and is now in the breakdown state. It's a great chance to launch a strong attack. Well, maybe I will, but not because you told me to. And then we'll have our Salutor go for a finisher. Ow. Oh wow, that did way less damage than I was hoping it would. Ow again. Let's check the initiative trackers. You know what? We'll go for another double distract. That should slow them down long enough for us to finish them off. Finish them. I was actually hoping that would slow their actions more than it did, but... Oh, here we go. He's probably fine.
The devil sent you.
You could say that, sure.
The village residents. If thinking interferes with her actions, so much the worse for thinking. The locals are impetuous, irritable, and eager to pick a fight for even the most trivial reason. Something is not right here. Interesting. Let's put that new point to good use and get word on what's really going on here. The box is marked with words of love, sweet as kisses. The names of Vesna and Luca intertwine, cuddling tenderly against the wood, against the delicate carvings, trying to protect them from damp and rain, from all the evil the world carries with it. Impetuous person. So is that Luca or is that Vesna? Although it's already become moldy from disuse, it carries the memory of the spirit of the one who wielded it. A loner by choice, with a disposition as tart as juniper berries. Okay, so the impetuous person is Luca. The axe expressly states it's not Vesna.
I wanted to talk. Ma'am, please open the door.
Please go. We didn't invite any guests over. Please leave. Please, please.
I wanted to talk. Ma'am, please open the door.
Please go. We didn't invite any guests over. Please leave. Please, please.
So it's starting to sound like Luca is our flawed individual. Violent but truly in love. And perhaps the anchor for our errant salutor. Let's do another pass on the wise woman, see if she has anything new for us.
You've been going in so many circles, your head will spin.
Apparently not. Huh.
Well then, I hope you'll still be alive.
So what am I missing? Let's rewalk the early areas, see if there was anything there I might have overlooked. Aha! Protective charm. Made of string, sticks, and feathers, it's supposed to protect the residents from the influence of evil powers. Interesting, interesting. Doesn't really tell me much. Is that the wise woman's handiwork? There was the line of salt on her doorstep as well. Alright, well, I'll tell you what. We're pushing the hour mark anyway, so I should really hit the pause button if I want to wrap this video up in a timely fashion. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'm going to take another pass on the village, see if there's anything else we missed. And we'll pick up here next time. We'll round out the demo in a second episode. But yeah, that is your first taste of the Thaumaturge, which I find to be a very intriguing and unusual isometric CRPG. Obviously a bit more on the narrative side than on the actual combat and die rolling side of RPGs, but there's certainly nothing wrong with that. We'll hit the pause button for now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and of course if you'd like to see more. And we'll probably pick up here next time. I'll maybe see you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Revenant, Alois, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, V23, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Rowan Church, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
I wanted to sweep.